Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernardo from the BTNHD, and yes, I'm so excited about this video because today, guys, I'm going to show you a step-by-step on how to deploy DFS, which it actually stands for Distributed File System, on Windows Server 2012. And what's DFS? Now, DFS is normally for domain users. It allows them to access file shares that might use Universal Name Conventions, which is UNC. To access share folder content. Now, for many large companies that have hundreds of file servers that are dispersed geographically throughout the organization, this is what they normally have to do. Now, this is very challenging for users who are trying to find and access files efficiently. So by using namespace, DFS can simplify the UNC folder structure. So let's actually get started. So I have two Windows Server 2012 machines. I call them BJDFS01 and BJDFS02. My old one is my everything, my DNS, my DSCP. It's not best practice, but for this video, I have my 01 as my active directory. And 02 is actually added into my 01, which I'm going to show you guys. And for DFS to work, all the machines need to be part of a domain. Okay, guys? So let's get started. Okay, so on 01, we need to open up your server manager. And within server manager, we need to get to add roles and features. Once the dialog box pops up, we want to hit next. And within next, you make sure by default it's going to pick role based on feature based installation. This is the one that we want. We're going to hit next. Make sure that this is selected, which by default it is. We're going to hit next. And on this section right here, we need to get into the file and storage services. So expand that, expand file and iSCSI services. And the one that we are going to do is DFS, add features, and DFS namespaces. So make sure those two are selected. The only one that's going to pop up with an additional roles and features would be DFS Replication. So make sure that is checked off. And we're going to hit next. And from the feature side, we're not really installing anything. It was just basically a server role. So we're going to hit next. Make sure there's a nice little summary of what's going to be installed. And we're going to hit install. And just let it install. Sit back and relax. Okay, so once this is installing, what you can do is go into your second machine, which is your O2 or whichever machine you're going to need or is going to talk to each other for DFS, needs to have the server role installed as well. So let's go into our 02 and go to server manager, and let's install this role of DFS into our machine. So click add and roles and feature. You're going to hit next, next again on this page. Go into files and storage and services, expand files iSCSI services, and the one that we want would be DFS namespace. Add all the features, DFS replication, and we're going to hit next. We don't need any features, hit next. Nice little brief summary, and we're going to hit install and let 02 get DFS roles installed. So let's go back into our 01 and see if it finished. Awesome. So 01 DFS role has been installed. As you can see, installation succeeded on 01. So we're going to close that. Let's go to 02 and see if that's finished. That's still going. So let that run, and we're going to go back into our 01. And what we want to do within our 01, we want to go into our tools and open up our DFS manager. So we can click on DFS manager so we can open that up. Awesome. So I'm going to close the server manager on 01 and going to expand our DFS manager. And let's go back into 02 and see if it's actually started. It actually started, so that's awesome. Let's go back to 01 and let's expand our namespaces, which is, you're not going to really get anything. I think you can, you don't get anything because we haven't created a namespace yet. So what you want to do is within that namespaces, we want to right click and we want to go into new namespaces. From the server, we want to actually have our first server. So let's browse, and I want this to actually be BJDFS01. Okay, let's press OK. Awesome. We're going to hit next on this. Let's give our namespace a name. For me, I'm normally doing this for like the marketing group for my Mac people or for my PC Mac people especially. So let's do this marketing. Let's call this marketing docs, because this is what they're going to be needing and using. And we're going to go into edit settings, because we need to modify the permissions. Now the permissions that we need to do is make sure your local path or share folder is where the location that you're going to be. Now for this test, I'm going to drop everything into the C drive, so that's okay for me. If you want your marketing docs to be located into a D drive or a partition that you created a RAID on your server, change the local path to that, okay? But for this video, I'm keeping it into the C drive, okay? That's where it's going to be dropped and the folder is going to be created. Make sure that you change your folder permissions. I like to do administrative have full access, and other users have read and write permission. That's great. If you want to change it and customize the permission, if you have a particular distributed group that only needs access to it, again, use custom permissions and customize it the way that you want it. If for now I'm doing administrative has full access and users only have read and write. So let's press OK on that. And before we even go beyond this, let's go into our 02, and installation is completed. So we're going to hit close on that, and we're going to close the server manager. We won't be using our 02 as much, but let's go into our 01. From here, let's hit next. Now from here, verify that you have the domain-based namespaces selected, which by default it is. I want you guys to take note that the namespace will be accessed by this particular path. Okay, it's actually going to be your domain controller name / marketing docs. Okay, ensure that also enable Windows Server 2008 mode checkbox is selected, and then we're going to click next, because by default all this stuff is there. So I just want you guys to make sure and keep in mind of what's happening. Okay, and we're actually going to hit next. A nice little summary before we create our namespace, and that's awesome. And we are going to hit create. If everything goes well, you get a nice little verification that you're creating that your namespace is created successfully. And we're almost there. Okay, so we're gonna hit close on this. Now the next step that we need to do is enable access base enumeration for the marketing docs namespace. Now to actually do this, we need to get into our actual namespace that we created. So we're gonna right click on it, and we want to go into properties. Now within properties, I want you guys to go into advanced, and once you're inside advanced, I want you to enable access based enumeration for the namespaces. Okay, and from here we're gonna hit apply, and we're gonna hit OK. Next, let's actually add a brochure folder to our marketing docs. Let's add additional subfolders within our main root folder. So I want to create like a brochure folder. So let's right click on it. And once your new folder is up and running, let's give your new folder name. So again, I'm going to call brochures, because my marketing people like to create brochure booklets and all that stuff. So let's call brochures. And I want you guys to click add. And within the add dialog box, I want you to type in your second server name. So it's going to be / right? It's going to be BJ-DFS 02 / brochure. Okay, we want this subfolder to be in the second server. Make sure you spell it right before you do anything. All right, so it's this actual folder that we're creating within our marketing docs, which actually lives on 01, and we're creating an additional folder inside 01 called brochures, is actually going to be linked into 02, right? Hopefully you guys understand that. And we're going to press OK, and it's going to say the share folder blah does not exist. It's like, uh-oh, it doesn't exist because we haven't created, but we do want the server to create it for us. So hit yes for it to be created. And from here, the local path of the share folder is actually going to be, it depends on where you guys want to do it. So I'm going to do C / marketing docs / brochures. Okay, again, make sure it's spelled correctly. And the permissions really up to you. I'm gonna do administrators have full access and other users have read and write, and we're gonna press OK. Again, it's gonna give me a nice warning because this folder is gonna be located into local 01, and we're gonna hit yes. Once that's completed, we're gonna hit OK. Now let's add another folder within our marketing docs. Okay, it's real simple creating these folders. So what we're gonna do is right click again, go to new folder, just give this a new name. So I'm gonna call online booklets. Okay, and again, let's add a folder target, and the folder target is gonna be within, let's say, our 01. I want to add this into our 01, so it's going to be BJ-DFS 01 / and let's give it the name of online booklet or booklets. Make sure you spell everything right, keep everything nice and consistent. Let's press OK on that. It haven't been created, so we're going to hit yes. Give it the permissions that you want. Again, I am going to give it administrator have full access and other users have read and write. And now the local path for this particular thing is going to be C / it's going to be actually on the local drive, which is 01, and it is going to be called online booklets. Awesome. And we're going to press OK, and we're going to create it. Beautiful. Let's press OK on that. Let's actually expand our marketing docs, and as you can see, we have 2 folders, awesome, within our namespace. So let's verify that our namespaces and its folders can be accessed with UMC. So I want you guys to do just minimize this, do a Windows R, and to actually locate it. Remember when I told you guys, remember that UMC path when we was creating the DFS and the namespace? So I'm going to do // and I'm going to use my domain controller, right? My domain controller name, and we are going to use marketing docs. So within marketing docs, let's see if I see my both folders. There we go. We see our brochure and we see our online booklets with this particular UMC path. Excellent. Now we need to configure our DFS replication. Now before doing this, we need, okay guys, now this is actually the second important task with namespace and DFS, which is configuring a DFS replication. But before we do that, why don't we just create another folder target to brochure? So let's go to our DFS manager within 01, and we are going to right click on our brochures, and we want to add a folder target. Okay, now within our folder target, I want this folder target to point into our 01 server. So let's do that. It's going to call brochures, and we're going to press OK. Hasn't been created. We're going to hit yes on that. The local path for this particular machine, I want it locally. So it's going to be C / marketing docs / brochure. I'm going to give administrative have full access and read and write for users. Press OK. Yes, I want this to be created. And then you're going to get this nice little dialog box stating that the replicate folder wizard will start, which is awesome, right? So we're going to hit yes on this. Now, within the replicate folder wizard, on both the replication group and the replication folder name page, I want you guys to accept the default settings and just click next. So just leave everything as is, because we're actually replicating brochures. So that's pretty awesome. So we're going to hit next on this. And on the replication page, on the next page, you're going to see right here, leave everything as default. This is, can't really do much here, but it's telling you what's being replicated, which is 01 brochures and 02 is what's being replicated between both servers. And we're going to actually hit next on this page. And from here, the primary member, I'm actually going to choose 01 for its primary server to be as its DFS. Okay, so we're going to hit next on that. And you only have 2 options, which is no topology or full mesh. By default, full meshes is selected, and that's what I want. And we're going to hit next on this one. Now, if you're really concern about bandwidth, this is where you can actually control your bandwidth. But again, for this testing purposes, I'm going to do full bandwidth. Why not, right? And we're going to hit next on this. You get a nice little summary of what's going to be done during your replication process. And we're going to hit create. Now this process is extremely fast, as you can see. And once it's done, everything's successful. That's always a good thing for us. And we're going to hit close. And you get this nice little dialog box. Replication will not begin until the configuration is picked up by the members of the replication group. The amount of time this takes depends on Active Directory domain, blah blah blah. So we're just gonna press OK. We understand that. And if you saw closely, now my brochure has this nice little green arrow. That little green arrow indicates that there is a replication process, as you can see. I just double click on it and the folder target is on 2 of them, 01 and 02, so it's replicated. If you go to online, online is only being replicated on 01, but we can do the same thing with online booklets, okay? Now, to make sure all replication process is running without any issue, and also to verify that our second server, which is 02, is having the same functions as DFS, let's go into our 02 server and let's launch our DFS manager. So let's go into server manager and let's go to tools and DFS manager, and from here I want you guys to right click on our namespace. So let's let it load up. Okay, so once it's loaded up, I'm going to close our server manager, expand our DFS manager, and what I want you guys to do is right click on namespaces, and we're going to add a namespace to display. From here, our domain is BJTech.edu, is whatever you want. Automatically, it picks our namespace that we created on 01. That's awesome. That's a good thing. We want to press OK on this. So that basically tells us that everything is being replicated accordingly. Look at this. This is beautiful. And we just created a display. This is beautiful, guys. You see this? This is awesome. This is the way that you guys want it. Excellent. Let's go to replication. As you can see, our replication process is there. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. One little thing that I'm kind of nitpicky about, I should have kept everything kind of consistent. You have you see how I got the uppercase C and the lowercase c? That kind of bothers me a little bit, but it is working the way it's supposed to work. So I'm super happy. The next thing that you guys probably want to do, which I might not do, is log into another machine like a client PC. Normally as a domain user, open up the run and just type in your universal name convention, which would be your domain controller and whatever folder you call. For instance, I could do it from this machine, but Windows R and / the domain controller name, and we're gonna do marketing. So if you click on that on a client PC, you're gonna basically get this, which is extremely awesome. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of how to create a DFS. If you have any questions, please leave it at the bottom of the comment section. Pretty excited about this because I'm gonna be implementing this pretty soon in 2 offices, and this is the way to do it, guys. If you will have multiple file servers throughout an organization and people are accessing these files, this is the way to do it. It's awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Leave thumbs up, and I catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.